Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Thank you all for joining today's webinar on breaking down the process, the immigration map, NVC to visa issuance. And today's presenters are Irma, Lindsay, and Neil, and they work on the case manager team for Worldwide. And Lindsay, I will hand it over to you.
Yes, hi, good morning, good evening, everyone from all parts of the world. So thank you for joining with us today and to discuss about our topic for tonight's webinar, the immigration stage from NVC up to the embassy stage of your application. So my name is Lency and I am a senior case manager for phase 2, processing the phase 2 of your applications. Can we begin the slide, please? Okay, so for the NVC stage of your US application, NVC is the second stage of your application where the USCIS sends the case to the National Visa Center for processing after the I-140 approval. So this process involves the National Visa Center, and it typically occurs when the approval is already received and you already have your priority date. Next slide, please. So for the NVC stage of your US visa application, NVC is issuing the fee bill, which is the first start of your visa application. So once the NVC issues the fee bill, you will have to pay for the fee bill payment, which amounts to $345. So it's required before submitting all the necessary documents to the NVC for review. So for Worldwide, we have the requirements before we proceed with the payment of the fee bill. So we will be needing a past English test, your visa screen application, even if you just started it, and of course, a current bedside work. It depends what your client or your employer requires you to have. Next slide, please. So once you have already the necessary requirements, we can now proceed with paying your NVC fee bill, in which your employer will be paying for your fee bill, while if you have your dependents, you'll be the one to shoulder for your NVC fee. So after paying the NVC fee bill, the case managers at Worldwide will be collecting all your civil documents. Of course, we're also going to collect the civil documents of your dependents if applicable. So for the civil documents, you're going to need your birth certificates, marriage certificates if applicable, of course, police clearances or certificates from all the countries that you have lived starting the age of 16, military records, deportation records, and so on. After the collection of the civil documents, your case manager at Worldwide will be sending you the instructions for your DS-260. So the DS-260 is an online immigration form where you fill it out. So it can be completed within 5 days. So we have the case managers to review your DS-260s. And after submitting it, the case managers also submits all the civil documents to the National Visa Center for review. And usually the review takes about approximately 3 weeks to 3 months. Next slide. So after the NVC completed the review for your case, including the DS-260 form and the civil documents, the NVC will be issuing a DQ letter, or the documentarily qualified letter, or they can even issue an NVC checklist. So if the DQ letter is issued by the National Visa Center, it means that all your documents are approved already, and it will now be in queue waiting for an embassy interview. And if ever the NVC will be sending an NVC checklist, it means that there will be documents that you will need to submit more to the NVC for further review. So for the DQ stage, or the documentarily qualified stage, your case will remain at this stage until your priority date becomes current. Once your priority date becomes current, then the NVC will be giving you the embassy appointment. Next slide, please. Now, once your case is already at the embassy stage, meaning you're already documentarily qualified and your priority date is now current, the case will be sent to the embassy. So at the embassy, this will be the final stage of your application before receiving your visa. At this stage, we have the case managers assist our candidates to ensure smooth processing for the embassy interview. So it depends on which consular office your case will be for the embassy interview. So you have your option, like if where you are located, you can have your embassy interview. So next slide. Okay, so for the embassy stage, since you will be given an interview scheduled by the embassy, but some consular office, they allow candidates to schedule their own interview dates. So that's for Manila and I think in Nepal. So they give instructions for the candidates to schedule their own embassy interviews. So it will be given, the interview dates are given via a packet 4. It's usually sent via email to the candidates directly through their emails. So once you receive your embassy interview date, the case managers will be sending you further instructions, and the documents that you will need to prepare for the upcoming embassy interview. So for the medical exam, it's required before the visa interview. The medical exam is completed in a clinic that is accredited by the US Embassy in your country or in the city where you'll have your embassy interview. Our instructions for our candidates is to have the embassy interview or the medical exam for the embassy interview at least 2 weeks prior to the interview date. For preparation of the embassy interview, we at Worldwide are giving embassy prep calls. So this is to ensure that we have checked all the documents needed by the candidates to bring for their embassy interview. And of course, we give them a briefing on how they should answer or prepare for the day of the actual embassy interview. So after the embassy interview is completed, if the visa will be approved, it's usually taking 1 to 2 weeks for the visa issuance. So there is an option per consulate on how you prefer to have your visa delivery. It can be delivered to your preferred mailing address, or you can pick it up directly from the US Embassy. Now, once the visa is issued, it will be delivered to you in a sealed packet. So the sealed packet is, it shouldn't be open, and only the immigration should be the one to open it. You just have to get the passport inside the packet itself. So once the case managers in Worldwide receives the copy of your visas, we are going to endorse you to the relocation team who will be facilitating up to the US deployment. Anything that you want to add, Ms. Irma, Neil?
I think you have it covered, Lindsay. So do you have any other slides, or we can go to the Q&A?
We can go to the
Great.
Q&A. So I have some questions here. Let's see. So it says, hi, my priority date is November 13th, 2024. When can I get the interview date? Nurse born in Australia.
Okay, I can answer that. So hi, for your priority date, November 13, 2024, you'll be receiving your interview date when your priority date is already current. So as of now, because of the retrogression, the embassy is processing those with priority dates of December 1, 2022. Once the priority date is current, then you will just have to wait for the embassy to schedule you for an interview.
Okay, and then next question. We have, are these civil docs at this stage a hard copy?
Actually, no. The case managers will just get the soft copies of your civil documents.
And then we have, can I retain my priority if I had early filed labor certification and I met the requirement of Scheduled A category?
Neil, I think you can answer this question regarding the labor certification.
Um, the question is, can I retain my priority date if I had early filed labor certification? So, um, I am assuming that this is for another type of
So,
skill or professional application. However, it would really depend on the USCIS if they will retain your priority date that was given to you. That is something that that's could be assisted by your immigration attorney. And again, that's highly dependable on the USAS if they will retain your priority date.
okay. And then I do have another question. How can I prepare for the embassy interview to ensure a smooth process?
Yeah, thank you for that question.
I'll take that one,
Mhm.
Ali. Probably okay. So one offering case management, specifically assisting the candidates prepare for their embassy interviews, is that your case manager schedules a one-on-one with you. Say if you're scheduled to have your appointment um, a week or a few days from a certain date, then um, there's a schedule, a call that's gonna happen, and in that call, your case manager will make sure that you are well prepared by checking all of your documents, make sure that they're all valid, including that of your dependents if you have any, and then provide you with some tips and strategies that could help you be successful during the interview itself.
Thank you. And then how long does the entire process typically take from NVC stage to visa issuance?
Okay, so it again varies because of retrogression and the slow movement of the visa bulletin. The entire process, meaning from the time you have signed your offer until um, getting to the embassy interviews stage, would typically be anywhere between 18 to 24 months. Okay, but again, a lot of factors would come into play in terms of you know um giving a specific timeline. Because when we talk about the U.S. immigration, timelines are very fluid and they always change. So, what I would say is that you stay updated. Um, Make sure that you're aware of the visa bulletin for the given month, and make sure that you are able to connect with your case managers so that you abreast and updated with the movement of your application with us.
Okay, thank you. And then we have a question here. What happens if my I-140 has no priority date dated on the forms?
Maybe the I-140 is still processing or waiting for approval at the USCIS. Because once the priority date is approved, the candidates will be receiving an I-140 approval, and it has there the priority date.
And we'll take a couple more questions. If my dependent was added as a to follow and I request an accompany change, will it cause a major delay with NVC?
It will actually not cause a major delay until the priority date is not yet current. But from that status, from follow to join, requesting to change it to a company stage or a company status, depends on which stage the application is already in. Like for example, if it's at the DQ stage already, and we will be changing the status of your dependents from follow to join to a company's status, then you will have to pay for the fee bill of that additional dependent and start with the DS-260 and civil documents, and then submit it to the National Visa Center for review, and then receiving a new DQ letter.
Okay. And then this one is about English exams. English exams needed for NVC, or do I need to take it later since there is retrogression?
Okay, that's a very good question. Well, it really depends on two things, right? The first would be, is it acceptable by the board of nursing? In to where you're in the state where you're going to be assigned to. Um, Number two would be, would you, if they would require an active English exam, right? When you do your license endorsement application, then again it would vary on what specific stage your application is currently at. Because if we want to avoid the candidates having to retake it, especially with those um, board of nursing um, that would require an active English exam. So it's really going to be, knowing the proper timing for which to take the specific English exam. But one thing is for sure, though, as you know, go through the immigration um, journey and application, taking the English exam is um, a mandatory requirement. Okay, because you'd be needing that for your visa screen application, and that the visa screen certificate is a document that when you do your embassy interview. So if you want to know more about our English exam, assistance or program, can reach out to your case manager um, so that they can advise you on what specific English exam to take and when the right time to take it.
Okay. And then we have one more question here. Will my spouse's civil documents be sent with mine in the same packet to NVC or not to be DQ, documented qualified?
The civil documents of the spouse will be sent with the candidate's documents to the NVC if the status of the spouse is a company. That also applies for the other dependents, the children, if applicable.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for answering all of those questions and sharing today. For everyone, don't forget to follow us on Facebook. Leave a comment if you have questions. Reach out to a recruiter and apply on our website. Or if you are in process, reach out to your case managers if you have any direct case questions. And also, if you know any nurses who have passed the NCLEX, you can refer them over to us to earn up to $250 in bonuses. And again, thank you everyone for joining. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.